Ow.
Ow.
What's up, cable dogs? How are we doing? Oh, I'm monitoring my own voice. This is weird. It's all right. It's just a bit delayed. Who have we got? Whoa, stacked house. Look at this. Look at this card. We've got numbers. Right, numbers. Always like saying numbers. You good with the old digits, as I recall? Told you I'm in space now. I'm always in space. I'm in a different part of space to be sure. I've landed because I'm gonna have to turn my voice up. It's all right. I know that I exist. I know that I don't need to hear my own voice. I don't think no one needs to hear their own voice. Damn, oh, that's so much nicer. I'll trust that I'm here. Yeah, I landed. I watched Interstellar yesterday for the first time. Didn't realize how long ago that film came out. It feels really recent, but it was like 2014 apparently. And apparently you can land ships as well, so I thought I'd give that a try. And I've landed on the surface of this planet. I have been here before. Long-time fans will remember from a couple of weeks ago. What else we got here? Yeah, I stupidly set my OBS audio output to be extremely loud. And once that's set, any Mac users will know you can't change the volume of it. It's just whatever it is before you put it onto the aggregate sound output. So I'm just stuck with the deafening boom in my ears. But please feel free. Yeah, that is the palm tree from Interstellar. I got it at an auction. I got it at Sotheby's. Went straight to Christopher Nolan's pocket. Yeah, there is a ship landing in it. He feels the air because he's an old school pilot. It's very technical. It's cool. I liked it. I liked the film. I enjoyed it. The ending dragged on a bit. It probably didn't need anything after he gets sucked into the thing. I think it kind of ended there because I think everyone pretty much knew what that meant, right? I don't think you needed the full explanation of the Tesseract. I think that's cool. I think you can just have him go in there and be like, oh, that's the thing from before. And that would have been enough for me. But other than that, great, cool. I like space. Space is cool. Massive waste of time and money, if you ask me, actually going to space. The idea of trying to find a new place for us to live rather than just putting all that money and all those resources into fixing this world is a very stupid decision on behalf of governments and scientists, I believe. But what do I know? I don't work for NASA. I do think it's very stupid. We don't need to go to space. It's cool to go to space. We don't need to go to space. But yeah, that is the tree. That is the tree. Who else have we got in here? Null. Hello, Null. I know I've been talking to you, but I haven't acknowledged that is your name. So welcome. It's a very busy format today, isn't it? I don't know if anyone's on their phone. I'm sure you can't see a single word that is written on Scrivener, but it's all right because I talk through everything anyway. I talk through everything, so you don't really need to be able to see anything. I just do flashy lights, sound and colours, jingling keys. That sound alert didn't come through. Did that come through for anyone else? I've also lost my social media pop-up that should be up there. I can't find it. I don't know. It might come on. I did search for it earlier, but I've done a whole thing. My hard drive was getting full, so I put everything onto Smart Sync online only, and I don't know that it's grabbed everything. But that's my tech woes. Otherwise, going pretty well. Got the dartboard. I said I was getting more and more complicated every show. I currently have 2 ring lights. I've got my EOS camera as my main webcam now, and I've got the other webcam that I used to use on the dartboard. It's all there's so many things going on here just to make this very stupid show. Lost in space. Like the show Lost, but it's in space. Oh, there we go. I think the alert is now coming up. The polite applause. It is exciting. I'm gradually, because I had a bunch of stuff anyway, because I'm becoming a bit addicted to collecting filming equipment, because I do a lot, and I'm planning to do a lot more on a professional level of filming stuff. I've been making a short film recently this week. I've got another one in the works, and I'm going to be doing some other sort of businessy, filmy stuff. So I've been upgrading my equipment anyway. There it is. There it is. Then I figured out that I can use half of this stuff on this show as well. So I'm justifying my investment in so many different ways. Oh, thanks. Well, I hope so. It's only I've made a 2-minute thing recently, mainly just to kind of test out my abilities, color grading, and because I'm shooting on a new camera, better quality than I ever have before. I'm shooting in 4K, which is very exciting. My eyes cannot really tell the difference between anything above 720. I don't think I can even discern 1080. But I am now filming in 4K, and it looks cool and it's crispy. I sound really quiet. Yeah, I probably do. Hold on. It's because earlier, as is usual for me, I have a lot of tech problems, and my microphone was being really sensitive. It was picking up everything. Is that better? Am I louder now? Turned up the gain a little bit. My microphone was picking up everything. I've got some new neighbours. I've got some very noisy neighbours, and it's summer and lockdown's lifted, so everyone's outside. There's a lot more noise all around me. I've got the window open, which I wouldn't usually, but it's so hot, which is why I've got clothes a bit better. I can be louder. I can be louder. Let's just make sure that everything's nice and shiny and clean and clear. Yeah, we're going to be writing some bumps. I know I always say that we're writing bumps. I always do say that we're writing some bumps, but we might actually. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think last time I was on the show and you popped into the chat, you also said about a haircut, and I have had another one since. Because I do frustration haircuts nowadays, because I'm not going out to the barbers. I'm not going to a hairdresser's. So for the last year and a half, I've just been like chipping away at it, and it got to the point where I was like, oh, I hate this. It's so annoying. I haven't been around much either. I missed the last 2 weeks, I think. So I just took clippers to the whole lot, and it's a bit weird because I do have longer hair generally. But I'm so hot, and I was just so annoyed with it. I was like, I just have to start fresh. Sometimes you just have to burn down your crops, as they did in the film Interstellar. Sometimes you just have to burn things down and start again. And that's just the way it is. Otherwise, light will get you, and you'll have to go into space, which is a waste of time, as I've said. But I'm getting used to it. It's had like a week or two to grow back a bit, which is slightly better than when it was completely buzzed, and my hair does grow quite quickly. Although it is growing in like Tintin. You can't really tell on this, but it's growing like up in a tuft at the front, and then not so much anywhere else, because my hair curls in really weird ways, and when it's short, it doesn't really know what to do, because it grows in like 7 different directions, because it wants to be really wavy. and it can't really figure it out. So yeah, I am turning into Tintin slowly, but that's cool. I like Tintin. Apart from the, yeah, I am a big Tintin fan. I know there's a lot of problematic stuff. I know that he was forced to make comics for the Nazis for a little bit, but that wasn't his fault. It was of the time. As soon as he was allowed to have a bit more autonomy, Hergé, he did change a lot of it. Fire is dangerous everywhere, Fen. Fire is dangerous everywhere. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Fire is super dangerous wherever you are. If you're ever in a fire on Earth, do try and evacuate the area. Do try and get away from the fire. It will hurt you. Did they burn the cross? I didn't see The Martian. Yeah, that's Matt Damon as well, who was also in Interstellar as a spaceman, which was apparently supposed to be a bit of a secret. I didn't know he was in it, but I guess everyone else knows it. Oh yeah, the Spielberg Tintin movie is very good. Once you get past the art direction, which isn't bad, it's just so different from the original illustrations that it is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit odd because it's not photorealistic, but it's also not the same style of cartoon. It's a bit weird. But yeah, I really like the Tintin movie. I've seen it a couple of times. I watched it not that long ago. I really like it. It's an adaptation of some of the best stories. I think the thing about Tintin is it's amazing that the legacy has survived when there is a legal requirement, I guess, on behalf of the estate that you're not allowed to write any new stories, which is why the movie, even though it's a feature-length thing, it still takes exclusively from stories that were already published. You're not allowed to write new Tintin stories, which is weird. But as soon as it's in public domain, I am writing a Tintin story. I think I've said this in the C2 sphere before, and I mean it. Fire super safe on Pluto? Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff about oxygen, hydrogen. These are important things. Maybe fire reacts differently in things. I don't presume to know enough about other planets to say how things work on other planets. And what's more, I don't believe that any scientist has the right to say with certainty how something would behave on a different planet, because we're only judging these things by the rules of Earth. This is why I always think when people are like searching for signs of life on other planets, and they did it in Interstellar as well, which I know was deliberate because they were searching for things that humans could live on, which obviously then it does need to be quite similar to Earth. But generally speaking, when they look at it's not Corona, don't worry. I just swallowed some coffee too bad. I'm gonna have some more. When they're looking for signs of life and they're like, oh, well, humans can survive on this, so there can't be any life. I always think, why are you judging it by carbon-based life forms? Why are you judging it by life that existed on Earth? Because we only exist in the way that we do on Earth because we adapted to Earth, right? And again, as they say in Interstellar, there's lots of things on Earth that humans aren't really adapted to. There are gases and stuff that are present in the atmosphere that we can't breathe very well, which is why we can't survive so many things. And there's no reason why, if evolution were to happen on a different planet, you couldn't get a totally different creature that could survive off totally different things. It wouldn't necessarily need water or carbon or anything like that, or hydrogen. Why would it? Who's to say there can't be life on Mars just because Mars isn't like Earth? I mean, we know a lot about Mars. We've been to Mars at least, but like Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, there could be life there that we just can't fathom. We just can't imagine what could survive there because we haven't seen anything on Earth that could survive there. But we have seen those little tardigrade style things that come down on meteors, right? Space bacteria. There is life in space. We know this. And that's my opinion on space. But still, waste of time. Who cares? We don't need to know this. That's for God to know. That's not for us. Who cares? Who cares? I like the idea of spaceships. That's why I live on one. That's why I converted myself into half man, half spider legs, and I just walk around in space. I think space sounds very peaceful. There's something both very calming and very terrifying about the idea of floating in space without a tether, just drifting. You know you'd eventually die, but I think there'd be something quite peaceful about the experience before you do. You want to see space a little bit, but the only way I'd be able to get up there is if I get a shit ton of some sort of sleep gas injected in me, just the most. You had to sedate me with a horse tranquilizer just to get me on the ship. Yeah, I've often said you are the B.A. Baracus of Cable 2. Yeah, Earth is cool. I mean, space is not. Don't worry, space is not my new obsession because, as I said, waste of time. I still think there are cooler things on Earth. I love the sea. I love mountains. I love forests. I think these things are cooler. We already don't know a lot about them. There is that saying that I don't know if it's true. It's definitely not really. When they say we know more about space than we know about the ocean. Like there's parts of the ocean that are just completely unexplored because we just haven't figured out how to get there safely and see it. Like the light conditions and the pressure conditions just aren't conducive to scientists finding anything. Yeah, funny radiated vent. Yeah, we talked about this when we were doing the C-Tooniverse outline as well, which we will get back to at some point. The kind of that kind of junky, dusty space thing like Alien, the original Star Wars things, Dune. Lots of just lots of scrap things. I think that the ship design in Alien is my favorite of all time. It's just very junky and very cool. A bunch of things just jammed together, and I think that'd be cool. I'd like to hang out there. Planning on making an interactive adventure exploring alien culture / language. That sounds very cool, Numbers. Keep us updated on that. I think that would be very cool to see. We like interactive adventures here. The little armadillo slugs. Is that the oh, is that the thing you're talking about? You mean like the little tardigrade things, the things that look like little little stocky anteater things. Redline. I haven't seen Redline. Tell me about Redline. Explain Redline to me, please. What is Redline? I've never seen that. I don't know. Been thinking about the film Contact a lot recently. I'm gonna watch Contact soon. I think that's gonna be the next film that I watch. Maybe. I've been thinking about the. If any of you ever seen Contact, I'm not gonna talk about it too much. I haven't seen it in years. I don't really remember that much. Contact is cool for the opening bit. There's one of the best mirror shots of all time. I love a mirror shot. Frames within frames. You know, it's great. It's a tracking shot of a corridor, and then it keeps on pulling out. And it was a reflection in a mirror. And it's young Jenna Malone. It's one of the most amazing bits of filmmaking of all time. It is such an incredible sequence. Yeah, Contact is a great film all around. Amazing performances. I often tell myself that people should have sent poets places for no real reason. It's just a great line, just a wonderful line. Watching your intro media, oh, that's so good. Doing media courses at schools and colleges is just so good. You see so many good things there. First time I ever saw Brief Encounter was in a media studies class, and then we watched it like 4 more times because we were analysing it. Jodie Foster is amazing. What was the last thing Jodie Foster was in that you saw? I don't know what the last recent thing I saw Jodie Foster in was, but she is fantastic, isn't she? She's great. I think she mostly directs now. I know she's done a masterclass on directing, which I will be watching as part of my new show. Hey, GG, Meg Stoutler. I just realised that's the first time I've ever tried to say that name out loud. I think, and I don't think I can do it. No, it's not a comb back. It's a buzz. I got rid of all the hair, but I will for you. I will comb it back as it grows in. I will slick it back. I'm going to turn into Italian Agent Smith. I'm bringing that back. I'm going to do a cyclical thing. I mean, the buzz is combed back as far as it's going to go. Took Network out of the cinemas. Oh no. Network's great. I saw Network when I was about 13 or 14. It was on TV, and I didn't know it was a classic. I'd never heard of it. It was just on TV randomly one day, and I'm very glad that I just watched it because there was no reason for me to think that was a film worth watching, having never heard of it. It was only afterwards I was like, oh, this is one of the most beloved films of all time. This is great. It's very cool. Obviously surpassed by its remake in Studio 16 on the Sunset Strip. You haven't watched a film in a while, Numbers. You've got to watch some films. I try and watch a couple films a week nowadays. I'm seeing me and my girlfriend trade off who gets to choose the film each time. So I'm seeing a lot of things that I hadn't seen before and wouldn't have thought to see. Most of the film, every time I come on this show and I talk about a film I've watched recently, it's because of this little deal that's going on that I just get to see a lot of cool stuff. I've seen a lot of classic films recently. All the classic films that I've talked about seeing that I never thought to see: Gladiator, Titanic, Sixth Sense. All these things that I knew were classics, but I just never got around to watching. I finally watched because we decided to Mike go straight. Yeah, that's a Mike go straight moment. Look, it's not one of those things like, oh, we'll never agree on anything. It is a case of we get to see things that we wouldn't otherwise, because there are things that I've never heard of and just would never have thought to see. The last film you watched was a fan-made Star Trek movie using game footage. Whoa, okay. That sounds good. I mean, there is something, machinima was a big thing for a while, right? A few years back, it was a very popular thing. I think there's something cool to be done there. There was an award-winning film, right, made in what was that thing? It was like Movie Maker, but it's more complicated. Was it just called Movies? At the Movies, the movie game, Movies. Have I watched Mickey and Nicky? No, what's Mickey and Nicky? It's called Redline. Mickey and Nicky. I'm gonna have to write all these down. Yeah, we should do another group watch. What was the last thing we group watched together? Was it X-Men Origins? Wolverine? Was that the last thing we watched? Got a magazine about it. Loves the Titanic in theory. What, the ship or the film? Because both are fantastic. Yeah, after seeing the film, as you know, I'm now a Titanic guy. I love the ship. I love it. It's my other thing. It's not space. It's mountains, Titanic, and JFK. They're my weird old man hobby things. Shot a movie. Oh yeah, What movie was it? Oh, that's right. You all have watched some stuff without me, sure. But nothing will ever reach the dizzying highs of X-Men Origins Wolverine ever again. The work print, the pre-SFX work print. I learned a lot from that about filmmaking. I now know how to make a lot more special effects. I think I could probably create X-Men Origins Wolverine at home now that I know what was composited and how. Wasteland, the animated movie budget. Man, you were watching a lot more interesting films than me. All the ones I come on here and talk about are very mainstream ones that I just haven't got around to watching in a while. I don't know what the last cool art house thing I watched was. I'm losing all my hipster cred. Left the superhero show and Infinity Train. Was it? Yeah, was there something more recently? I don't know. I miss a lot of it because obviously I'm on a very different time zone than a lot of the other C2 people. Geometry Center videos. What are geometry centers? What are all these things that you're saying to me? I feel like even the things that used to give me hipster credit now just mainstream things. I made that short. That was a joke about Wes Anderson films, and that is as hipster as I get. You rewatched Borat? Yeah, I think I watched Borat about 2 years ago for the most recent time. I'd seen it when it came out, and that was the first time I'd seen it since it came out. I think I still enjoyed it. I know it's problematic, but it's holding up a mirror to the problematic people. It's fine. I watched the sequel too. It was pretty funny. Again, I feel like I shouldn't find it funny, but I thought it was pretty funny. I don't think it was. He says, my wife. He says it like that, right? He says, my wife. Yeah, I mean, I like being from this country. He was a national treasure long before that film came out. It's weird. Ali G was what he was mainly known for, and I don't think anyone remembered that Borat was a character on that show at all. And then that film came out, and that became the thing he was known for, and everyone forgot about Ali G. Yeah, I know we usually stick to Austin Powers and The Matrix on our streams, but I just want you to know. Oh yeah, speak of the devil, Dom's got it. My wife, groovy baby. Should we shag my wife now or shag my wife later? As we pointed out on the show before, very hard for someone with a genuine English accent to do an Austin Powers impression, because it's obviously it's not quite a real English accent that he's doing, and it's very difficult to get your own accent wrong. It's very tricky thing. Wife on the stream. Oh, we do need a wife. My computer can't handle going on Stream Elements while I'm streaming. But if you remind me afterwards, I will add it. In the next show, chat. I don't know what the next show is. Have we got a warp tonight? Have we got a warp? Have we got a flight? No, we don't have a flight. There are no more flights. It's very sad. No flights. There's no RB. There's no RB alert. There was an accidental RB alert when I started the stream. There's no RB alert now. Remember when Tom Cruise was Austin Powers? Yeah, that ruled. Remember when Kevin Spacey was Dr. Evil? That ruled slightly less in retrospect. Danny DeVito was Mini-Me, however. Excellent. That's the thing that I've also watched the Austin Powers movies recently because I do still love the Austin Powers movies. There are things in it that have aged really badly. Mini-Me being one of them. I know obviously he was an actor and being paid probably somewhat handsomely for it, but it's literally punching down. He's just the butt of the joke. I feel really bad for him. Like, no wonder Vern Troyer had such issues, like had such a hard time with it. He was just literally the joke of him is just that he's very small, which obviously he was in real life also. So seems a bit cruel. It's the same way with, like, when you see a character that comes up in a comedy that it's clearly they're written as like the ugliest person in the world, like the person that the protagonist would never want to go on a date with, and the whole point of them being there is just to be on screen and be ugly. And I always feel really bad for those actors because obviously they're getting work, but when that agent gets that brief through and they're like, ugliest person in the world, no one would ever want to date them. I know someone who's perfect for this. I'm going to send that over to my client now. They're going to book it, obviously, because they're hideous. Beyonce, yeah, Beyonce, I mean, she survived the indignity of being in the worst Austin Powers film as a joke about blaxploitation. There's not really a lot good in Goldmember. There's like two funny scenes in the whole of Goldmember, I think, and that is Michael Caine and Austin Powers doing Cockney rhyming slang, which is nonsense but is all real slang and is completely understandable if you know what they're saying, but is generally just a very funny scene. I like that a lot. Shat on a turtle. And the other bit is Nathan Lane doing the translation for Beyonce, which I think is very funny. Mainly because of one moment in it. The scene as a whole is not fantastic, but there's the bit where she gets a thing snapped on her finger and he says ow, even though he can't see her, but he knows it's happening because they're linked up translating. It's a funny gag. It's a funny little gag. But other than that, not good even by 90s broad comedy standards. That's my opinion on Goldmember. Good, we do have a warp. I can't wait to see Dan's Muppet Show either. That is going to be so very good, so very funny. Who are the guests for that first episode of the talk show? Is Null, are you being the first guest? That'd be very cool. A few movies you enjoy mostly for how did this movie even get made? Yeah, there are movies that I really like that I understand aren't great. I might have said this before. The film I've seen most of all is the first Charlie's Angels film, the first Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore Charlie's Angels film. Mainly because it was the first DVD I ever got back when that was new technology, and for a long time the only DVD I had, so I just watched it a lot. Notice my bit rate's gone. I think my Wi-Fi's not doing great. And I watched that again very recently, like maybe a month ago, and I still enjoyed it, but I recognised that a lot of that was nostalgia. I was watching it, and because I was watching it with my partner, and so, you know, when you watch something that you really like with someone whose opinion you value, and suddenly you start noticing like all the flaws in it because you're kind of worried about whether they're going to think you're an idiot for liking something. And I was noticing a lot of stuff in it that I was like, oh yeah, this hasn't held up beyond me having been like 10 when this movie came out and really enjoying it, because it was, you know, had cool people kicking, and Crispin Glover's really cool in it. Crispin Glover's great. I love Crispin Glover. Met him at a Q&A a few years ago, and he is genuinely one of the weirdest men I've ever met. But very, very cool, very creative. Just a very Like, you can tell he's like an artist, like a real artist, which you wouldn't expect because he's George McFly. But he's so cool. Yeah, that's the X-Men Origins work print I was talking about earlier. Yeah, Wolverine was that was great. I loved that. I really enjoyed watching that. The claws not being animated, the body's not being animated, the explosions not being animated. It's very cool. The wires there. It's just a great film. Josie and the Pussycats. Yeah, I love the Josie. I love anything with Alan Cumming in it. I think Alan Cumming is just wonderful. He's great in that. It's a great movie all around. It's good, and I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about it. Oh yeah, Mickey and Nicky, crime drama. Oh yeah, I think, yeah, I've said recently how much I love Peter Falk, right? He's a great actor, great guy, great autobiography, great Columbo. That sounds really cool. I'm screenshotting the chat right now just in case it gets lost. I don't want to lose that. Peter Falk is so cool to me. He's one of those actors whose like origin story was a bunch of people just telling him he would never make it, and then him becoming wildly successful, which is always great, especially when they seem like a genuinely good guy too. I've never heard anything problematic about him, even considering the era that he mainly worked in. Because I mean, he was he lost his eye really young, I think, and then he came up this kind of odd-looking man with a glass eye, and obviously at that time particularly, all the studios and the agents were just like, no, you're never gonna make it as an actor. Like, you can't do this. You're not gonna be a leading man. And then he was, of course, he's Peter Falk. He did great. He did great for himself. He's very cool. I love Columbo. It's like on my dream wish list of things I keep looking at and being like, can I justify buying this? The full Columbo box set is like this big. Every episode of Columbo, even the ones from the 2000s that aren't as good, but they're still good because they're still Columbo, and there isn't really a bad Columbo episode. Yeah, I'm gonna watch Mickey and Nicky. I'm putting that on my list. I'm gonna watch Contact, and then maybe I'll watch Mickey and Nicky. Those will be my next two choices for the films. Claws Grow is great. I think I have the Claws Grow screenshot somewhere. I think I took that screenshot. I will try and find it and send it to you numbers somehow. Yeah, I'll PM it to you if I can dig it out, if I can drag it out. Mickey is a tragic love story hidden in a 70s crime drama. That does sound, I'll be honest, the more you say about it, the more of a Maiko film it sounds like it is. That sounds great. I'll absolutely be watching that. I don't know if the picture's very fuzzy for anyone, so I'm looking at my phone that I read the chat on is very fuzzy, but maybe that's fine. Maybe we're okay with that. Maybe we're alright with that. Are we going to actually do anything today? Are we going to do the project? Nobody knows. That is the gamble. That is the fun of multiverse, is you never know what I'm not going to do next. You never know which responsibility I'm going to shirk. Let's see what we're going to do. Right, no bullseyes, so we are going to be writing. Right, so as usual, let's go. Yeah, Lou Dog the President. So I'll do a little recap for you. It's only 2 paragraphs. It was an unusually stormy night in the sleepy town of Spookbrook, Illinois. Jackson was a tough kid. He was so tough, he didn't even wince while getting his meningitis jab. In fact, it tickled. He hadn't been able to sleep, however, since learning that the president had a gun. It wasn't that he was scared. Jackson Hardwire didn't know the meaning of the word. Just ask his English teacher. It was that this would make it harder for him to achieve the dream he had had since last summer, while attending President's Camp. The dream was simple: to fight every living president. Beckham scored a very powerful goal on the TV. He turned to the camera and winked. The president, Lou Dog, winked back, as if this was a moment between just the two of them. His advisor, Cherry Red, furrowed her brow in confusion. Did the president know something she didn't? Nah, she thought. The president knows what I tell him to know. And that's where...
Let's go!
Oh, wow, that was delayed and loud. Thank you. Let's go. Thank you, Down. Reminds me, you should add your contact social to your site. You've got to... Oh, NeoCities. When I was a kid, I've only relatively recently realised that it's GeoCities, like a city of geography. I always used to say Geocities when I was a kid, and it didn't really mean anything. I just figured that's the name of it, so that's what it's called. That's what I'm going to call it. NeoCities site recently, currently in the bare bones single color text and a single color background phase. That was a classic phase of design. Everything that we've ever done, Cable 2 and the precursor to Cable 2 as a group, the other group that legally I can't mention and should mention that we are technically, legally, and morally distinct from in every sense that matters. We go to that well of design quite a lot. That is usually the starting point for any visual project that we do. Obviously, this show has moved away from that quite a lot. Not really sure what the aesthetic of this is. Dartboard, MS Paint, space, tree, dartboard. I can't say a grocery guy. I can't say it. I don't even know what it is to say. I've never heard of it. I have plausible deniability. I wasn't involved in the creation of it. Wasn't involved in the design. Certainly, I've never been a moderator of its forums. I'm sorry. I don't even know what you're talking about. I can't say it. I don't know what you're asking me to say. I don't know what the word is. I don't know what it's called, and I refuse to learn. Add your contacts, add your socials. You've got to add your contacts, add your socials. I'm not a traitor. I'm the opposite of a traitor. I've been asked not to associate with it on stream for legal reasons. I've been asked to. We had a big discussion. We had a big round table. We filled out questionnaires. We talked to a lot. We literally talked to a lawyer about this. We don't connect ourselves to the group anymore. It's not that we have abandoned the group. It's not like we're claiming any distaste, dislike, distrust of the group. It's just that we're not affiliated at any official level. You would have dominated it. What would your domination have looked like? You would have insisted that we mention it at least once a show. We did used to mention it once a show. It used to come up in the chat more than once a show. It used to come up every 15 minutes advising people to go to that website. But we don't do that anymore for legal reasons. Not my decision. Okay? I was of the opinion that the group was a collective. It was the legal advice that it was in fact the sole property of an individual who is not affiliated with us, and therefore it became complicated and wasn't worth the hassle, which is why we are called Cable 2. And as far as I know, we've always been called Cable 2, okay? We've always been called Cable 2. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of the orb. Right, so what are we doing? Where are we? Let's remind ourselves what the story is. Hey, CB5K, as if on cue. I don't know what that means. We weren't talking about you. We weren't even thinking about you. Let's have a little look. Where is our description? I think it's here. Here we are. Right. What is the plot? Did we decide the plot? Oh yeah. So here are the twist endings that we're going to have. All of these are going to be canonical to the book. So just to remind ourselves where we're headed, because maybe if we know the ending, then we'll know what the middle looks like. Adults have been gone all along. The book takes place 1,000 years in the future. The kid had powers all along, but he never mentioned it because he thought he was normal. This Earth is a clone of the original Earth. They're in a human zoo that replicates 20th century Earth. The kids aren't humans, but plant fungus hybrids. The entire story is a video game made by someone in the Matrix. Jazz's friend Eric is in it. The final page is a mirror. that's pretty funny. I mean, scary. A black mirror. I think that's why it was. Neo puts down a controller for a game, which is our book, and the plot of The Matrix starts. I'd forgotten that this. I'd forgotten that this was a prequel to The Matrix. That's great. And Kanye Reeves, I've written. Don't remember what that means. I think I misspoke, and I thought it was worth. You missed that website, but you found another community that fills the niche. You're in a voice chat, right? Holding two conversations and paying full attention to neither. I'm also paying zero attention to anything. Hey, Curio Lab TV. I'm sure there will be a sound alert at any moment now. Thank you so much for the sub. That's my streamer voice. Do you imagine? Hey, Curio Lab TV. Thanks for the sub, Pog. That's what I would sound like if I was an actual streamer. Thank you. Thanks for watching. We're writing Goosebumps if you haven't been here for the explanation of that. If you just enjoyed me saying Kanye Reeves, if you just tuned in and you heard me saying Kanye Reeves and you thought that was good enough, then God bless you. Hey, does anyone here worship God? Anyone? Everyone sound off in the chat if you worship the one true God. Yeah, what is it? What is this other community? Numbers? What is it? You can say that community. I don't mind getting them in legal hot water because I don't know who they are, so I don't care. I'll ruin their lives by talking about murdering the president on stream. But it's fine because it's the plot of the Goosebumps book that I'm writing. That he's trying to fight the president. I don't even specify. Well, I do specify which president it is, and his name is Lou Dog. So unless by some weird coincidence in the future a guy called Lou Dog gets sworn in, and this retroactively becomes conspiracy to assassinate a head of state. Don't really worship him, but the God and I are cool. Yeah, I respect that. I got big respect for that. All the other presidents also kids. Yeah, maybe. I guess it would have to be for this first twist to work. If all the adults on Earth have disappeared, then I guess in the final chapter, in the final passage probably, it does have to be revealed that the president was a kid all along. We just didn't mention it because that's how twists work. If this ever gets adapted for a movie, that will be tricky. All the past presidents, you mean, were they also kids? Maybe. Maybe. Harder to sell that as a twist ending because at least if this is set in the future, we can be like, oh, at some point the adults disappear. But if we say that Abraham Lincoln was a kid, you might be reading it and be thinking, hey, wait a second, I don't think that's right. But if we write it masterfully enough, which I'm sure we will, then no, I think we can get away with that. I think we can get away with that. Why wouldn't we be able to get away with that? We can get away with that. So yeah, I'm going to make a note of that. All the presidents, past and present, were kids. Baby Muppets. I'm going to write down Baby Muppet. I don't know who. Scholastic, I think, own the rights to Goosebumps. I don't know if Disney owns them yet. I'm sure that is imminent. So I don't know if we've got the Muppets. But even the Muppets are in a weird place, right? Because Muppets, as in Kermit et al., are Disney. But Sesame Street, which is in the same universe as Muppets, is not Disney. I don't think they have the rights to Big Bird and Elmo, etc. So that gets complicated because I think there have been crossovers, but I suppose it's a bit like the whole X-Men Spider-Man thing before the merger. So who knows? And more to the point, who cares? Disney can sue me if Disney want to sue me. If they want to find me, they should go to posting.cool and ask for Malbec. That's my name on that website, which I am, if being sued by Disney, and only if, conditional on my being sued by Disney, I am legally associated with it. Okay? Sure, beautiful chimes. I think that was delayed for the subscription. So thank you again to Curio Lab TV for the sub. Thanks for the sub. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe. Click the little bell up there in the corner to make sure you never miss another Cable 2 video. Muppets Baby so funny. In the actual show, they would use TV footage. If there was a dream sequence, they would have just used it like an episode of Star. Oh, that's interesting. I watched something like that recently. What was it? I don't remember. There was something weird like that where they. I know The Simpsons did it in a recent episode, which was awful. They watch To Kill a Mockingbird and they just don't bother animating it. They just show the actual live action footage, and it's awful. I think Lilo and Stitch did it. They had photographs as well, but there was something I watched more recently than that that was very jarring. I don't remember what it was, but they were just watching regular TV, but it was the rest of it was animated. It was bizarre. Oh, so that's okay. So it can't be put in syndication. Okay, so it's like how a lot of shows before home video was such a hot thing, they didn't bother licensing the music for it, and they had to recut it, and the generic music choices always sucked worse than the originals. But even weirder than that, you just can't show it at all without massively re-editing it. That's an awful decision. It's a really weird decision. Did you know the show House, where he's a doctor called House, has a different theme tune in the UK? It's Massive Attack in the original broadcast in America, but over here we have a sound alike. For whatever reason, they didn't have international licensing for it. It's so weird. That's so odd. And I only found this out when I used to watch House all the time over here, and then I saw an American I don't know, stream of it, or maybe I was over there and I caught an episode, and it had the actual Massive Attack song in it, and it was just so weird because it's like the one we have over here is basically the same tune, but it's obviously not the same tune. It's not as recognisable. It's very weird. What's this about Dark Gag? Fuck Sesame Street and the Muppets. They campaigned to kick out my friend from CBeebies for being too radical because she invented Dark Gag. Huh? I don't know how much of that, if any, is true. They campaigned to kick your friend out from CBeebies. Yeah, well, I remember when we stopped airing Sesame Street over here. There's a whole generation of kids in England who don't know what Sesame Street is because we just didn't air it. Because the BBC had a move, like the new general director general, the commissioning editor, said that we should be producing all of our own kids programming, which we do a lot of anyway. Like we already had like Teletubbies and the Tweenies and stuff, and then we replaced all of the import stuff like Sesame Street, the classics, in order to make room for that, which is really weird to me because Sesame Street is obviously a classic. It's great. I used to love Sesame Street as a kid. I was the last generation of Englishmen to watch Sesame Street. That's sad. House of the I like House. I think it went off the rails a bit. I don't think I ever finished it, even though I am generally a completionist. I think I stopped after the season where he escaped from rehab on a motorbike or something. I think that was the last one I watched. It all got a bit silly from there. I'm not opposed to silliness. There's only so much nonsense I'll stick around for. But up till then, yeah, it's cool. I think that's one of the main reasons I liked it, because I was a big Sherlock Holmes fan as a kid. And then this thing came around that was Hugh Laurie, who I already liked from stuff, because he was already very famous over here before House. And he's been grumpy and a doctor. I love medical dramas. And he's Sherlock Holmes. And it's extremely on the nose, because his name is House instead of Holmes. And his best friend is Wilson instead of Watson. But also it has Lisa Edelstein in it. She's very pretty. At least I thought so as a kid. Now, obviously, I wouldn't know. Attractive? Don't know. Hadn't noticed. Yeah, there's some delay. There's some serious delay right now. I realise that I'm talking about things way out of order. Swore Revenge. She's getting a Cable 2 show. Yeah, Dark Gag. You should talk to Synth about that. Although I'd worry about Synth getting their hands on Dark Gag. Rowdy enough with regular Gag. So yeah, in every Muppets Baby episode there'd be footage of Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. Really? How did they have the rights to that in the first place? Did they just never have the rights of it and it was just not, they didn't care about it? Dark Gag is the counterpart to Damascus Goo. Yeah, possibly. Is Damascus Goo good? I guess maybe it depends whose hands it's in. Don't let Synth know about Dark Gag. Don't. Synth already has access to technology through being a haunted keyboard. They just never did. Why did they do it? You can't just decide to air a show with somebody else's footage in it. Even in the 80s and 90s, you knew you couldn't do that. You knew you couldn't do that. Even in the 80s and 90s. The wild west of television. That's so bizarre. But I love it. And with that in mind, I saw the notification. It just popped up on my watch. I know that you just messaged Synth about Dark Gap. So I'm not going to put in this twist endings, not in twist endings, but in the general outline, Planet Flesh. What did Planet Flesh mean? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, there's just a passage from the Wikipedia for House of Leaves. I think that was a Synth suggestion. That was a classic Synth bit. Yeah, I know what you're doing, Dan. I'm going to put in that maybe we can use passages from other Goosebumps books. Now that helps in many ways. That helps flesh out the world of it, shows that we are a part of the Goosebumps extended universe, and we know this because it's taking place at the same time. It's sort of a Stephen King Dark Tower thing where lots of things are intersected. 11/22/63 going to Derry in the time of the first half of It. It's that sort of thing where a lot of our stories are taking place concurrently, and so we will just sometimes see a snippet of a different Goosebumps book that's taking place in the same town. Maybe we can get away with that, I don't know. Hey Dom, thanks for the bits, buddy. Thanks for cheering the 4 bits. Thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing. What's up, Dom? I wish I had more of a soundboard. I don't have an air horn. I'm gonna, maybe I'll put together a soundboard. I've got a keyboard on my lap right now. I love plagiarism too. Plagiarism absolutely rules. It's one of the best things Shia LaBeouf ever did, I think. It shows also about the power of imagination. Their imagination was just movies. Yeah. I think that's the case for me too. I think a lot of time I have dreams. I'll go into therapy with a dream I've had, and then halfway through describing it realize, oh, I wasn't dreaming about this because of any deep-seated fear. It's just because I watched a movie that had the same plot a couple nights ago, and I just put myself in it. That's all it is. I'm dreaming about being in this location, not because I had any traumatic experience in a location like this, but because I watched a movie set in that location. I wonder if Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead for a modern movie. Yeah, I think that would be very cool. I like the idea of sidequels. We'll do a Lion Half 1.5 or whatever it was called. That took place in between. Started off taking place in the middle of the first Lion King, I think. Or it became the plot of the Lion King partway through. I don't know. I never saw it. I just know the general idea of it. And I realised that was also an adaptation of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead on account of the Lion King being an adaptation of Hamlet. Dom says, I'm eating a Toblerone. And Dom has the right to say that because of all the bits. Because of all the bits that Dom cheered. That is your right for having given me money. What is 4 bits? I don't know how much that rounds out to. But it's cool. It's a cool amount of bits. I like bits. Remember when I was doing tarot and I was scamming people out of bits? That was great. That was a great era of multiverse. I think we should have more things you can spend money on C2 shows. I'm just going to say it. That was great. That was great when I put up the bits and we realised that people would actually spend bits on us. That was a great day. That's how other streamers make money, and we just don't ask for any money. And I think that's because we're nice and we feel weird about asking our friends to pay us for hanging out. But I think I should be paid for hanging out. I think I've earned it. Okay? I sit here and I talk into the void for an hour a week. I should be rolling in it. Yeah, retelling a story from a different perspective, it's great. Stephanie Meyer thought it was good enough for Stephanie Meyer, it's good enough for Cable 2. If it's good enough for Tom Stoppard, which obviously I mentioned second as he ranks beneath Stephanie Meyer in my ranking of all-time great literary figures, eating a Toblerone. I don't know if I ever liked it. I don't eat milk chocolate nowadays anyway, but I don't think I ever liked it as a kid. I think it's nuts, isn't it? Which I love nuts now. When I was a kid, I used to eat the Ferrero Rocher, but I just used to eat the crisp around it and leave the nut in the wrapper, because the outside of a Ferrero Rocher is absolutely delicious. Big nut in the middle. Now I would think it was the most delicious part, probably. Back then, no. What is Irish breakfast tea? Is that breakfast tea with a shot of Jameson? Actually, that might be what it is. Having a char siu bao, exactly. Sui capisi palisa, says Numbers. Pubble Ponerone, says Dom. Numbers is reading Toddler's Toki and Poner as being mental after it. I agree. You don't know what makes it Irish? Is that just the name of it? Is it just a Twinings Irish breakfast tea? I don't know. I've never heard of an Irish breakfast tea. Being genetically Irish and liking tea, you would think I would know, but I've never heard of it. I think a Toblerone would be called Toki Panoa. I actually do agree with you. I've actually said that many times on stream. I realise you're just trying to get in my good books by mirroring me and telling me what I want to hear, which is that Toblerone should be called Toki Panoa, which I've said hundreds of times. I say it dozens of times a week. Just the store, you could either choose 20s Irish breakfast or 20s English breakfast. Go with Irish. I mean, I respect your stance in standing with the colonised rather than the colonials. Up the RA, absolutely. I'm not afraid to say it. Afraid to say the name of a website that I helped create for legal reasons. Not afraid to say up the RA, because in all earnestness, in all seriousness, up the RA, of course. Don't listen to the English propaganda. I know I sound like an Englishman. I promise you. My family is new to the country. Up the RA, yeah. Can we get a big up the RA in the chat? We get a huge up the RA in the chat. Would be called in. I realize that every time I do something remotely controversial, I'm not just putting myself at risk here. I realize that I obviously share this network with several other people. I'm one of a number of people who run this channel, and so if I get kicked off, everyone gets kicked off, which doesn't quite seem fair. But whatever. I think all of my takes are valid and good. I think all of my takes are correct. I think I'm on the right side of history with everything that I've said. I don't think I've said anything that's controversial to anyone whose opinions I care about. Jeff Bezos, would he stand with RA? Would he kick me off for supporting the RA? Possibly. I don't know that he has a very well thought out opinion on the Irish struggle for freedom, on the troubles, on the history of English settler colonialism, on the British Army, on the atrocities committed against the Irish people. But I'd imagine if he did have an opinion, it would be the wrong one. But who cares? He's going to be in space in 9 days. 9 days, I'm counting down. 9 days, we can say whatever we want. Spread the word. In 9 days, you can get on Twitch and you can support whichever group of freedom fighters you want without consequence, without repercussions. You can say whatever you want about whoever you want. It's fine. You can have whatever hot take you want in 9 days' time, because Jeff Bezos will not be here to stop you. He can't stop you. That's it. That's right, Dom. Dom said it, and Dom has cheered 4 bits, so Dom has the right to say, 9 days you can say whatever you want. It's birthday city, baby. 9 days, it is birthday city. It is the forever purge. In 9 days' time, the forever purge will begin. The sirens will start. And for however long he's in space, you can say whatever you want. All crime, including murder, will be legal on Twitch in 9 days' time. As soon as Jeff is in space, he cannot stop you. We are out of the range. He cannot watch your Twitch stream. He cannot moderate your Twitch stream. You can do whatever you want. You can break into Ethan Hawke's home, terrorize his family, kill him, in order to have a chance of dating his daughter. Don't know what the logic of that is, but if you feel there is a logic to it, you can do it in 9 days' time, live on Twitch, on Cable 2. Cable 2 will be streaming The Purge in 9 days' time. If you think about the multiple Jesuses and how you can read it like a Batman superhero identity, please elaborate. Fen, you seem like you're replying to something. You're a fan of Barabbas. Oh, you're a fan of Barabbas? B.A. Barabbas from the 18. Just kidding. Of course I know that you mean the prisoner who was pardoned and Jesus crucified in his place. Well, not in his place, because I guess originally they were both going to be crucified and then only one of them was. They could like one. Can't wait for Jeff Bezos to have a terrible time in space because of the many effects of microgravity. What if Jeff Bezos got space madness? Huh? What if Jeff Bezos got space madness? What did that sound like? Is that horrible? Is that horrible to hear? Yeah, what if Jeff Bezos got space madness? Yeah, I hope that Jeff Bezos gets space madness. I don't have the monitor on. I don't know what that does. I know that I put a filter on that at some point in the past. I don't remember what the filter was. Yeah, well, that's the thing about space madness. Space madness comes to you from the left. And I hope that it attacks Jeff Bezos from the left as well. Space madness. Is it exclusively on the left? Maybe it is. I don't remember what the filter was or why. I just remember there is one. It's an imp. Yeah, the imp creeps into your left ear. The imp crawls into your left ear like the bug that goes into Neo's navel in the first Matrix film. He might. What if Jeff Bezos gets too close to Gargantua, the black hole, and time starts moving really slowly for him? That would be terrible for us because that means he gets to be a billionaire in the future as well. Probably even more of one because his money would just inflate. Well, maybe you're the one with them on right numbers. I don't know if it's programmed to come in through the left. I don't remember what I programmed it to do. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it would work. It just occurred to me that I could click that button. It would make my voice go weird. Reading that court proceeding is Jesus and Barabbas are the same person, like Bruce Wayne. What, is there a theory that Jesus and Barabbas are the same person? That's cool. I don't know how that would work. I've said on stream before, I'm too stupid to understand Tenet, so I don't think I could understand the Bible, because I mean, the Bible is, of course, the greatest story ever told. Tenet is the second greatest story ever told. Maybe, don't know. Do the thing again.
This thing's
space madness.
I've got
space madness. How was that? In what way, specifically, was that unpleasant for you to hear, Numbers? How can I help you fix your headphone problem? The Neverending Story is the longest story ever told. Yeah. The first time I ever saw The Neverending Story was on TV at my aunt's house, and I had to go somewhere while it was still on, and I was enjoying it. And I was watching it with my friend, and when we were leaving, we were like, oh man, I hope it's still on when we get back so we can see the end. And he was like, well, yeah, it's the Never-Ending Story. Of course it'll be on when we get back. And that made sense to me. And then we got back, it wasn't on. But then I bought it on VHS, and I watched it the whole way through, and I loved it. It is an interesting way. I think there's so much in the Bible. I think Bible Apocrypha is so interesting. The Gospels that the church decided weren't real is really cool. There are many theories about it. The Jesus' brother thing, which is weird because that's supported by the Gospels. There is mention in the canonical Gospels of Jesus having a brother, but we just don't talk about it because it's not mentioned in all of them, and it's only like one line in I think 2 of the Gospels mention the disciple that he loved most, and I think there is a classical way of reading that suggests that Jesus has a brother, which I think is really cool. I think there's a lot of cool stuff, and there's also a lot of misreadings of it as well. You know, the whole 666 thing was a misreading. The whole Mary Magdalene being a sex worker was a misreading. That was a different Mary, but we just conflate it because there's so many Marys. We just mix them up. Normal voice is still happening under the imp voice. It is, yeah. I can change that. Hold on.
Space madness. Now I'm exclusively a space mad imp.
It's because I have 2 different microphones. That's the trick. I just have a filter on a different microphone. Yeah, there's a lot of different dogs. I don't remember what they are. There's top dog, tip dog, tap dog, omega dog, up dog, uber dog. That might be it. I don't remember. There's probably more that I don't remember. So anyway, that's the end of the show. Didn't we have a productive time, everybody? Didn't we do what we were intended to do? So Seth, if you're still here, I know you asked at the start, are we going to be writing some Goosebumps? The answer turned out to be no. The intention was yes. The answer was no. Yeah, there's no big dog. There's no big dog. I agree with you. I think it's very cool. I think biblical fiction is cool all around, and biblical interpretation and biblical theory. I think just love that big old God. Who here worships God? So yeah, Numbers of the Omega Dog. That is a perfect way to go out. So we didn't get a lot done today, but I had a great time. I threw a couple darts. We chatted about space and the Bible. What more could you want out of an episode of Multiverse? All in all, a classic multiverse episode. I will see you again next week, I promise. Until then, we had fun. That's the most important thing, isn't it? Lovely to see you all. It was a great crowd today. Thank you all for coming around and sticking around. Thank you to our new subscribers. Thank you to our new friends. Do come hang out with us some more. We've got a Warp Zone up coming up later. We have some RB later, possibly. It's not going to be a Fantasy Flight. It might be a new project, maybe. Or possibly not. I think RB is not going to be on Sundays from now on. I think RB is leaving TGIS and moving to the new Tuesday block. But suffice it to say, there are more shows to come. So, as always, remember to be kind to every version of yourself. And I love you. And goodbye. See you next week.